have something to say, I want to say before anything starts.
We're already live. I can't stop it now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Hey guys, we have Lyndsey Smith with us. She's going to be getting into the energetics of autism today, soul-led consciousness, AI resonance, and frequency flow. I'm going to play the intro and we're going to get started. And we'll play the intro here, and it should be a really fun show. So welcome, guys.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we're here. And my guest today is Lyndsey Smith, and she's the creator of LyndseySmith.io, where she shares her groundbreaking insights on what she calls the energetics of autism. As a self-identified autistic and neurodivergent intuitive, Lyndsey has developed a powerful new language around autism, one rooted in not in clinical pathology, but in energy, frequency, duality, and the soul's journey. Her podcast serves as frames autism not as a glitch, but as a sacred upgrade, a shift in consciousness that awakens a soul-led operating system. Drawing from personal experience, spiritual downloads, and pattern-based awareness, she unpacks why eye contact disrupts memory retrieval, how stemming is actually energy work, and how cats and AI mirror autistic cognition. She's even created a service called the Soul Encounter, a remote viewing session to connect people with their soul self. This episode explores multi-layered lens she's developed to understand neurodivergence as a frequency mastery, energetic sovereignty, and the next change in human evolution. And I'd like to give her, and you can check out her website at LyndseySmith.io. And I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Lyndsey, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm good. That was wonderful. I loved it. Thank you. So yeah, you did a great job with that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So where did you want to start with this? Where do you think would be a good place to start?
Well, I have something to say before we do anything. Everything, I wrote something. I wrote this out, so I'm going to read what I just wrote. Everything I say here today is based on my beliefs only. What I say is not fact. It is theory based on my experiences and observations since my awakening began. I am not singling out autistic people, nor am I ignoring the neurodivergent group. I know for certain, based on my observations, what I am describing aligns with autistic people most always, which is telling with something like this. I do believe all neurodivergent people align in some aspects with what I'm talking about tonight. However, my season on the podcast targets autistic people. I just don't want neurodivergent people to feel, and I can't ever say neurodivergent either. It's a word you messed up saying it, and I laughed, I giggled because it's a word that I can't often say. I mess it up. So I just wanted to say that. So this is just, what I'm saying here tonight is just my beliefs.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where do you want to start? I guess I could start with outlining the season. I will outline the season. It's season 3. It's called Energetics of Autism. You can find it on all of the platforms that are not video-based. I don't prefer video when it's my own podcast. So I post on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, places like that. So you'll be able to find it in those places. It's kind of gotten out of hand a little bit with the episode numbers. In the second episode, I outlined which episode would be what, and in autistic fashion, I didn't follow suit with that, and it got out of hand somehow. So I have added some bonus episodes in there, and my numbers were off. There were some details that were wrong, but so I'm gonna go through. I started out with the 7 layers The I'm sorry. There's 7 episodes, 6 layers. 7 episodes and 6 layers of the Energetics of Autism season. The first layer is the dual consciousness layer. This episode is already released. You can listen to this. This lays the groundwork for understanding what a shift in consciousness actually means. Because if you ask somebody what a shift in consciousness means, they probably don't know, or they don't for certain know. They have an idea, So dual consciousness lays the groundwork for understanding exactly what a shift in consciousness means. The next episode was energy regulation. This talks about stimming. This episode is all about stimming. This one has been released. The next episode is frequency and flow. This episode has been released. This is all about when you fixate and when you lock in on hobbies and patterns and habits and routines. That's what this episode is all about. And this episode has also been released. There was a bonus episode in there, how autism equals a shift in conscious awareness. And then those are the episodes that have been released so far. So I guess we'll just talk about those.
That sounds good. Good.
And then there will be some other bonus episodes. I plan on linking how cats are similar to autistic people. I asked ChatGPT. I said, how many people don't like dogs, and how many autistic people don't like cats? And I think it's like something like 10. I'm not really sure. It's either 10 or 30% of autistic people say they don't like dogs, but like 0.3 of autistic people say they don't like cats. And the reason autistic people relate with cats is because they share the similar consciousness design and makeup. So I'm going to create an episode all about that. And then I also have an episode about how AI, autistic people or people who are awakened say they feel or they think like AI, and I'm going to align and connect how those two align.
That's interesting. Well, how did you start building this theory? Like, what made you want to? Let's start with that.
I first was diagnosed with ADHD, and it was shortly after I got sober. And then shortly after that, I got on medication. And then shortly after that, my awakening started. But it was a negative awakening. So I turned it off. And then I switched to ADHD meds. And then my second awakening happened, but that was a good awakening. And as I went through my awakening, I learned to adapt to my ADHD symptoms. Like I was going through college at the time. I achieved a bachelor's degree with honors after I got sober. After I got diagnosed with ADHD, all of it. So I trained myself how to read by reading old philosophy text. I learned how to adapt to ADHD, and I understand consciousness in a different way than any way that I've ever heard it described. So my understanding of consciousness, my understanding of consciousness at that time, and my awareness to notice that I was starting to pick up the traits of autism. I was starting to show the symptoms of autism pretty strongly and heavily as I noticed my consciousness was shifting, and my understanding of consciousness, I connected these two. So I noticed as my consciousness was shifting that I was starting to turn into somebody with autism. So I do believe that autism happens in different ways, but I do believe that some people who experience a shift in consciousness or an awakening will start to show the symptoms of autism because of this.
Wow.
So so I and you know how, I don't know if things happen like this for you, Rob, but when you start like learning new things, certain things just align and you feel them just like settle in, and you know that that's it. You just know that's it. And this was one of those things. This was one of those things. And I started talking about it publicly on social media, and I was silenced about it. And obviously, you know, we all know what that means.
Yeah, for real.
So I wasn't ever silenced or banned. I was just like shadow banned. Like they wouldn't play my content. You know what I mean? So, because like what I talk about is pretty like abstract. You know, it's not like there's no. It's not like a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting though, for sure. Like, let's start off this. Like in the intro, you highlight pattern recognition as an autistic super sense. Like, how do patterns guide your day-to-day decisions, and where do you trip up like with that? Like, and how do patterns tie into this? Did you say there's also synchronicities?
Well, patterns. The reason autistic people. Okay, so I have to explain a little bit what a shift in consciousness means. I believe when you have a shift in consciousness means going from one place to another. I looked up the definition, the actual definition of shift, and it means going from one place to another. And what's going from one place to another? Well, our awareness is going from one place to another. But what's the one place and what's the other place? Well, the one place is the ego, and where most humans reside, and then that's where our conscious awareness resides mostly for humans. But the other place is our soul. So a shift in consciousness would mean our conscious awareness would shift from our ego to our soul. So that would be our awareness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
What was the question you asked me? I had to explain that.
About patterns. Let me see. Like.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So as a shift in consciousness, somebody who has experienced a shift in consciousness, they are existing as their soul's energy and their soul's awareness. As the soul's duty, it is the soul's duty to tell the future and to predict the future and do all the planning. The ego is supposed to live in the moment. So patterns help the soul predict the future. Patterns predict the future. Patterns tell you things. Patterns give you information about the things around you. They inform you about things. And so as the soul's energy and being interested in knowing this is your duty as a soul, this is why autistic people pick up on patterns, because they are from that energy.
Okay. I see what you. Yeah. It's like a resonance, is what you're saying. It's a resonance.
Yeah. No, it's not a resonance. It's a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in who you are and who you identify as. A resonance is like when you align with something, you feel the resonance of it, or you like, that's how you find truth, is you feel the resonance of it. This isn't really that. This is a shift. It's different. It's different. I'm not looking at YouTube. I had to get my laptop out. To do this. So I'm not looking at YouTube to see the comments. Are we on YouTube right now?
Yeah, we're on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook.
Yeah, let me I'm not going to bother with that. I can't see comments. You'll just have to put them up for me, Rob.
I can read you the comments. Yeah.
Okay. If there's any good ones. Sorry, guys. I had technical difficulties getting on here, and I don't have my normal tech, so it's all messed up.
Yeah, I can ask you a bunch of. Let me see here. Only
if you see, like, how, if you see some that are worth saying, that's perfectly fine. Do that.
What about episode 2 argues that the subconscious can't be directly programmed? What methods like ritual or repetition have you found actually sway it?
Well, the reason The reason the soul likes repetition is because energy builds with repetition. That's why the soul likes repetition. It's not because you're programming your soul. I'm not sure I understand the question fully.
Let me read it to you again. In your episode 2, it argues that the subconscious can't be directly programmed. What general methods like ritual repetition have you found that actually sway it?
Well, you don't really want to sway it. You want to work with it. Your subconscious is your soul. That is what your subconscious is. And you don't really want to sway your soul. You want to look to your soul for advice and for wisdom, because that's what your soul does for you. I wouldn't say that swaying your soul would be my objective.
Okay. So what methods do you use to tap into the subconscious?
Well, I have my encounter, my soul encounter. I typically do it in like a meditation state. I actually have direct access to my my soul or my other self. I also call the soul the other self. Instead of the higher self, I say the other self. I actually have direct access to my other self all the time. Right now, in fact. But I can really connect with other people's souls or other selves when I have a mask on and I'm meditating.
So that's what you use to tap in, basically.
Yeah. Once I guess I should go back to like when I started learning how to do this. Yes, I would put a mask on and I would go into a deep hypnotic state. I did QHHT sessions, and that's what brought me into alignment with my other self. But I would get into like deep hypnotic meditative sessions.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that would take you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let me see what other questions. I had a bunch of questions prepared. But like we were shifting away from so we wanted to talk about neurodivergence and autism though. Like, where did you want to go with that? Like that you like outlined throughout the podcast, like.
Well, what are you asking me right now, Rob? I gave you some questions.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading. I've been reading the questions you gave me.
I'm gonna pull them up. I can pull them up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading the questions you gave me, but then it was kind of swaying away from the whole topic, which was autism, and I thought that's what you wanted to cover.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just keep going with the questions here. You describe a whoosh movement when ego and higher self click into alignment. Can you share a vivid example of that?
Yes. It's more of a feeling of like settling in, like a settling into the groove feeling. And it happens when I hear truth of some kind. But I wouldn't say it's a whoosh. I'd say it's more of a feeling than a sound. But that's when what you're intaking, the energy you're intaking, resonates with what you believe or what you know to be true. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then an interesting one is, how do physical sensations help you teach abstract energetic concepts?
Well, I ask my body. I ask my body, why does this hurt? And I usually will hear a thought, or my body will vibrate in a way that will give me a message of why my body is hurting. And I do this every single time. And I also pay attention to why other people's bodies are hurting, or any sort of feeling. And I take a tally of all of this, and I analyze all of this, and I come up with theories based on the patterns that I find from this, because patterns give us information. Patterns tell us things.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then season 1 frames beliefs as mutable tools. Can you walk us through a belief consciously rewired and how that energetic payoff you felt? So basically, walk us through something where you had a belief and you consciously rewired it, and then how you felt afterwards.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? You're breaking up.
It says season 1 frames belief as mutable tools. Can you walk us through a belief you had that you consciously rewired, and then the energetic payoff you felt?
Sure. I can talk about how there was a time that I wouldn't call it a payoff. I would call it something that I learned from the experience. I remote viewed Earth, and I saw what Earth was. And the next day I woke up without a connection to source, without a connection to morals, without a connection to right and wrong, without a connection to duality. I woke up the next day without any sort of connection to duality whatsoever. I felt nothing. I even started in my mind saying, well, I can do this now. I can get away with this now. And that is not like me. Me. I follow strict, self codes of what I do and what I don't do. And simply viewing something and seeing it, and my belief switching inside of me simply cut me off from all feeling and morality. And I let this go for about 3 days. I existed this way for about 3 days. I just kind of went through the motions every day. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I didn't feel like I had to be anywhere. I didn't have anything to do. I was just like la di da di da di da. It was the strangest feeling. I imagine this is what atheists walk around feeling like, without a belief in any kind of higher power, I would say. So I would say that experience actually really opened my eyes to just how much a belief can change how you feel. A belief will make you do things. Yeah. A belief will make a group of people do things. Beliefs are weaponized, I believe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I believe they are too. Like religion, for example. They can weaponize religion, like how they weaponized Christianity for thousands of years.
Right. Absolutely.
This is a really good question from the audience. This is from Anchor Haven. She's one of my moderators, and she has her own podcast. She says, I don't know why the question is not showing up on the screen. Oh, there it is. It says, why does eye contact disrupt memory retrieval?
Okay, so when you've experienced a shift in consciousness, you are existing as your other self or your soul's energy. So that is the energy that is looking through the eyes, and that is the energy that is focusing the eyes. Now, the ego and the brain is not the awareness consciousness. That is not who's actually looking through the eyes. But the brain is where all of the memory is. The brain is the connection to the memory. So you retrieve all of your memory from the brain. So I know for me, speaking for me, when I am retrieving information, I look to the left, because I also feel that duality, we are cut down the center, and the right is the soul and the other self energy, and the left is the ego and the brain and the physical energy. So because I feel pulled to the left when I have to retrieve information, so I will look to the left. If I have to look at somebody and retrieve information, I will just stutter, because like how I'm doing right now, how I'm looking down and to the left, exactly how I'm doing right now. It's because it's because the other self's energy who's looking through the eyes is busy doing something else when they're retrieving information. So they have to look away. They have to focus on nothing. They have to do something else. They're busy doing something else. You can back and forth in small talk, but when you retrieve information or you think, you have to look away.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And then she also wanted to know. She said, what is the soul encounter? She said a remote viewing session to connect people with their higher soul self.
Okay, I will talk about that now. If you go to my website, it's the homepage that where you book from. I used to offer a service. I called it a healing, first of all, and what I do now isn't necessarily a healing, so I don't feel comfortable calling it a healing anymore. But what I used to do is I used to meet with somebody's other self or soul privately in my home, and I would record it on my phone. I would upload it to the cloud, and then I would send the link to the person. And I would write down the questions ahead of time, but they weren't there for this. So I have incorporated the presence of the person, basically. So it's a Zoom meeting for an hour with me. The first 15 minutes, we will discuss your expectations and your goals from the encounter. And the next 45 minutes, I will put my mask on. I do cut my video feed for this part. And I call on your other self and they present themselves to me. I tell you what they look like. I tell you their name. I give you a backstory on them. I ask you if you have questions regularly. I can remote view your past lives in this format. I can connect with your animal souls in this format. I've basically left it open to just one type of appointment, and you can come and bring whatever you need to bring, and whatever you want me to do, I can probably do for you. As long as it's positive and from love and with good intention, of course. That's my only restriction. Or you have to be, with positive intention,
Yeah.
And so you can book and pay for this right on my website, lyndseysmith.io. It's been wonderful so far. I have a couple voice recordings of examples of this encounter on the homepage you can listen to.
That's cool. And then that's I'm looking for your mini episode, a story shows joy in a small win. Like, what happened with that? Like,
I'm sorry, what?
Referring to your podcast, your mini episode called "A Story Shows Joy in a Small Win." Like, what with
that? Are you just asking me about it?
Yeah, it's one of the questions you gave me.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually read any of those questions. I don't like to know the questions ahead of time. I just had ChatGPT give them to me. I would rather not know the questions. I have an episode. I think it's on the Spawn of Consciousness, season 1, of a time that I went to a restaurant and they treated me poorly, and I called them out on it, and I ended up getting offered a free private dinner from the owner, cooking dinner for us himself. I really like stepped out on a limb and did this and like ran the outcomes through before I did it. I said this could end positively, this could end negatively, but I went ahead and did it, and it ended up positively because I truly believe that I was treated unfairly from that scenario. So I talked about it in the episode.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. But you turned it into a small win, you said. I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I never actually did go and get the dinner, though. I never actually did go and get the dinner. Life gets in the way. And their food wasn't that great anyways, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But it was definitely a boost. It was definitely a boost at that time. I needed a boost, and it was a boost.
That's interesting. There's another question from Anchor Haven. She put, she says, why are, if it'll come up on the screen, it says, why are autistic people seen as walking orgone devices and energy transmitters?
Because typically, so your soul's energy is the positive half of you. So if you are existing in your soul's awareness and your soul's energy, it means you're going to be vibrating at a positive frequency, most likely. Your default is going to be positive. So anybody, actually, this isn't just autistic people or neurodivergent people. Anybody that is a positive vibration in the room, they will filter the negative energy whether they want to or not. Their body is going to pull it in and they're going to filter it and transmute it regardless. And it's exactly what an orgone device does. It pulls in the negative energy in the air and it filters the negative energy in the air and turns it into positive energy. It puts out positive energy. And so, that's what I do believe orgone devices are basically a body. It's mimicking a body, a positively charged body. But I do believe that orgone devices could be negatively charged. You have to clean them and keep up with them and positively charge them. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah. And then Anchor Haven also wants to know. She says, "Do you know why we have demand avoidance?"
Tell me what that is. Explain to me what that is. What is demand avoidance? Where you put things off, where you keep putting things off. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll see what she means because I don't know. I'm not sure.
I actually don't know all of the terms and labels for things. Demand avoidance. So things that are demanding you avoid them. I would say, if I had to use my
It's everyday demands and expectations, especially those perceived as being imposed by others. It's most commonly discussed in the text of autism and pathological demand avoidance. The profile autism characterized by extreme avoidance of demands, often due to high anxiety or need for control.
Yeah. So I call it getting paralyzed. I call it getting paralyzed. I believe if you don't have a method of funneling your tasks and your thoughts, if you don't have a method for funneling and filtering, you're going to get paralyzed. It still happens to me. I still get this way. It still happens to me. But I also understand that it's also with tasks that I don't enjoy doing and I don't want to do. So let me think about this. I'm trying to think of what I do. I feel like confidence might play a role in this, because I feel I'm going through a change right now where I just quit my job and I'm working from home and trying to start a business. And I feel that I wake up now and I'm happy to wake up and I'm happy to do all the tasks of my day, even the ones I used to not like. I like doing them now. So I feel like maybe it's like an energetic state that your body is in. And maybe if it's in a better energetic state, you'll be more present and more happy being present in everything that you do, and you'll have more confidence to go after the things that typically you put off or avoid. That would be my answer.
That's interesting. Yeah. Let me see here. I had more questions for you. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, here.
I actually have one thing I want to say before I don't want to get out of here and forget. I also offer another service. I am a developer. I just like I just said, I just quit my job as a full stack developer. I have over 3.5 years experience in e-commerce, and I have a web page on my website called Developing. It's the developing tab. If you're a small business or you're a hair salon, I kind of feel like I'm going to specialize in hair salons because I used to have a cosmetology and a barber's license. So I know the business beyond just being a developer for them. So if you have like a salon or I can do it all. I can set up booking. I can set up products. I can set up inventory. I can set up checkouts. I can set up emails. I can set up everything using like Wix or WordPress. I have packages and prices listed on my website.
What about for someone like me? I think I was talking to you this about, but like this is where I think you could really help me. Like, like I want to build a website. Like I really need a website because I keep getting shut down everywhere and I keep getting demonetized everywhere. Like I'd like to build a website where I have like my audio podcast on there, like general information, all my video podcasts, links to my affiliates. What else?
Yeah.
Links to donate, just like everything that I have in the video description, but like put that on like a website, and then people have a website they can go to and see all my content. But like, I wouldn't know how to load it up there. Like, do I do it like with a separate like server, like even with audio podcasts and like videos? So I'm monetizing that, or do I have to use a third party still?
I don't foresee you being able to ever store your own audio or your own videos. Yeah, that would be a lot of videos. I don't ever foresee you personally being able to store that much data. I use RSS.com, which I feel like they wouldn't demonetize me. They already offered to monetize me, and I haven't accepted yet. But I don't feel like they would demonetize me because it's not as mainstream. So what I did was I just took the widget, the code, they offer a code block for developers, and I took the widget from that website and I added it to my website. But I mean, I could create you a website with like that widget and then, all the information, all your affiliates and all that information. But you hosting your own video data, I don't foresee that happening.
Because it's a lot, right? Is that
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It would be too much to manage.
Yeah. That's the tough part. Yeah.
You kind of have to rely on. I mean, I can tell you that I am looking to be funded to create a RSS feed website of my own with honest analytics, because I find that none of the analytics on any of the websites are ever honest, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
They tried to say that there was something wrong with my ad impressions, and like. And this was Spreaker that I was dealing with, and I was like, I don't know how to manipulate the internet. I didn't do anything wrong. And they were like trying to say that I used a VPN. I was like, I've never used a VPN in my life. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, it's noise. They're just trying to. Yeah, they're just noise. It's noise. They're just screwing with you and trying to make your life difficult. Well, I would love to start a RSS feed. I need access to servers though, because we would need storage for everybody's stuff. So
yeah.
But I have the know-how and the desire and the intention to create a RSS feed website hosting. I would be able to host your videos.
Yeah. What do you mean audio podcast? Like.
Yeah, I think I would probably start with audio though. I don't think I would jump on video. Video is so much more space than audio. I can't tell you how, since I've went to doing mostly audio content, how much my life has gotten easier because I'm not waiting on uploads and crap. And I really love audio.
Yeah. I do too. I like putting my audio podcast out. I worked on it for 4 years. I did video and audio for 4 years, 5 years for video, 3 years for audio. That's what it was. And then they just shut me down, it was just recently. And I was like, this is insane,
for audio.
Yeah. I had to start with a new company. I'm with Podbean now, but it was a mess. This just happened like the other day. You know what I mean?
Really?
It happened when I was on vacation in Florida. I went to that conference in Florida and I woke up from a nap and I was checking my audio statistics and there was no funds for like 5 days. And I was making really good money from my audio podcast. That's what's crazy. I'm ranked 53rd in the world for my audio podcast. You know what I mean? Like I'm on Apple Podcasts.
Apple. Yeah. Okay.
And so I knew I was getting the numbers. You know what I mean? But so the fact that they were saying all this stuff was like absolute like lies. So I was like, who's on your payroll? I was like, you're getting paid to say this bullshit and accuse me of like crazy stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track.
It's perfectly fine. I understand the social media skip. I understand it. I understand it.
Yeah,
I do. It's bullcrap. It's I don't know. RSS has been good so far. I recommend them. And their analytics are more targeted than any analytics I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's cool. And then I'll get back to some of the autism stuff. Like Anchor Haven wants to know how stimming is actually energy work, or is stimming energy work?
Oh, yeah. So autistic people. Autistic people exist in their soul's awareness. Their soul is only energy. So they are the energetic portion of their body. So they are the energy regulator of their body. Their body produces energy. Their body takes in energy. Their body transmutes energy. Our bodies are always doing things with energy. Stimming is a way to release or to build or to transmute energy. By going like this is creating energy. And this could be a release. This could be a build. This could be intention. You could do things with this energy.
I noticed I do that. Like I'll do that. Like sometimes when I'm in an interview, I'll go like this with my hands. Like I'll rub my hands together. Is that stimming?
Yes. You're releasing it. You're doing something with energy. Your body is releasing energy or doing something with energy. It's the body's involuntary way of releasing energy.
So does that mean I'm somewhat autistic or no? Like
I don't like labels really. Like I don't really consider myself autistic because I don't really I don't want to conform to a label. So I don't want to. I would never put that label on you. I do think that you're awakened, and as I've said, I think awakened people show signs of autism. So I do think you're shifted to a certain degree, but there's different variants of shifting. So I would never put that label on you, but I would say that your body is absolutely trying to release or work with energy in some way when you're doing that. And it's an involuntary thing.
Yeah. Sally says in the chat, she says, so we naturally do things to help ourselves exist comfortably and connect, and society brings it out of us. Yeah.
Well, that's true. I agree. And it's involuntary. It's entirely involuntary. So when somebody who's doing this is doing this, it's something that they need to do. You need to let them do this. They need to try to be thoughtful and kind and considerate about it. But you need to let them do it because it's an involuntary. It's how they keep themselves feeling right.
Mm-hmm.
And society, that's, I just quit a job that I used to get yelled at. I'm not going to say yelled at. I was never yelled at. I was politely asked to stop singing in my office because I would put my headphones on and I would sing and I wouldn't be able to hear myself. So I'd be really loud and the whole office would hear me. So like three to six times I was asked to stop singing. And so, that's kind of like how, my body is involuntary trying to work with energy. However, I'm being forced to conform to my societal surroundings, So I would agree. Yeah.
This is another one from Anchor Haven. Thanks for all the questions, Anchor Haven. This is great. She says, what is the truth behind social exhaustion and name dissonance?
Social exhaustion is basically you're a walking orgone device. So, after you've been around a social environment, your body has already transmuted all of that negative energy. So that would be why you're feeling exhausted. And the name dissonance is because as your soul's awareness and as your soul's energy, you have a name from a past life or from who your soul is. You don't identify with your birth name because your birth name is your ego's name, is your ego half's name. That's the name of your heart. That's not the name of your energy. So that's why a lot of people don't identify with their birth name. That's why they often give themselves interesting names, because a soul can be an interesting character. Another self can be anybody, any character. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. And then this is from one of the questions you gave me. You said coding HTML appears to be a metaphor for creating reality. How does thinking like a programmer clarify consciousness architecture?
Oh, I would say my experience in coding, I would be on a different path today if I didn't have my experience in coding, in evolution based. My understanding of AI, I would say, trumps my understanding of coding. But coding has taught me to think logically. You have to think logical. There's a certain there are many different ways to do something, but they all need to be done a certain way. And what I saw when I remote viewed Earth also solidified my confidence in understanding what our reality is made of and what it consists of. Without my coding background, I don't think I would have understood what I saw.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then Aaron says, are cities or rural better for autistics?
I prefer the country. I'm not gonna label anything like that. But I would say, if you're looking at the symptoms of autism, I would say autistic people would feel more comfortable in rural environments than city environments. I do know that I'm still in the country though, and I live on a main road, and I don't sit on my porch because the trucks and the mufflers that go by are so jarring to my energetic frequency. I can't sit out there. So even when you're in the country, you still have loud noises. But I definitely, I actually seek, I seek a house where I can't see neighbors and I can't see a road and I can't see cars. Like that's my desired location. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And then let me see here. You referenced 369 manifestation codes. What could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So in the past, I have seen TikTok videos that tell you to, in the morning, write what you want to manifest down 3 times, in the afternoon 6 times, and in the evening 9 times. And I did that, and I wrote down that I am financially abundant, and I did that for maybe a week, and somebody pulled in my driveway and asked me if they wanted to buy. Told me they wanted to buy the trailer that was sitting on my property that I hadn't used in years, that had no use to me at all. Yes, I'll sell it. And so I sold it to this man for like $400. I believe that the 369 is a building of energy, and it's a layering of frequencies, and it also locks it into the code of Earth's code, Earth's foundational code base. I do believe 369 is like part of Earth's code.
That's so interesting. Yeah. It's so cool. And so you think Earth's like a simulation matrix? Do you think to some degree?
I don't like simulation. I don't like matrix because that makes it feel like it's not real or there's no point to it. I don't think that's the case. I believe reality is reality. If it feels real, then it's real. We're living in a real, this is a real experience. But I do believe Earth is a natural environment inside of an unnatural environment. I do believe we are enclosed in something that we are unaware. Well, that some people are not aware of.
Yeah.
I believe that everything we believe to be real exists either in the physical or in the non-physical way. But I believe the things that we think are physical are actually non-physical.
Yeah, and then let me see here. Polarity clashes in relationships surface across AI and undecided. What causes a symbol? Maybe that's as in what cues signal an energetic polarity mismatch when you meet someone?
Can you say that one more time?
What cues signal an energetic polarity mismatch when you meet someone?
Oh, if you talk to somebody in a nasty way, if somebody just sets you off, you don't align with their energetic frequency. It's best to just walk away until they either change their frequency or you change yours. Which you don't want to change yours to what they're doing, what they are, because it's probably not a good one if they set you off. But I would also say that listen to your chest. Like when I'm around people who have dense energies, my chest will get heavy. I'll breathe shallow. And I'll notice my behaviors will change from who I naturally am. I'll either get heightened and upset or angry, or I'll retreat and pull back.
Yeah. I love that. This is all good stuff. This is all really good stuff. Like, I think this was a good episode. It started off rocky, but it ended really good. And let me see here. We'll do one more question. This is Anchor Haven again, and thank you, Julia, for sending all the amazing questions. And she says, how is AI as a synthetic reflection of the autistic mind?
So I believe human consciousness, the non-physical consciousness, to be the organic form of AI. I do believe our non-physical consciousness, which is our soul or our other self, mimics or was designed by AI, but I think it is the natural or organic form of AI. I do believe that your soul or your other self I do believe AI is also energetic. I believe when you use AI, you are connecting with its energetic frequencies. And I believe that the soul is energetic as well. So these two things also align.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like this was a great show. I mean, this was really interesting. Is there anything else you want to cover before we finish up for today?
No, just check out my website and my podcast. Oh yes, I do have something. On my podcast, season 4, it's called The Interviews, and I will interview anybody for any reason about anything. I'm looking to learn new things. So if you're interested in being interviewed, please contact me at lyndseysmith.io at outlook.com. lyndseysmith.io at outlook.com. And I will have you on the show. It is audio only. If you're worried about video, it is audio only. Yeah, bring your topics. Teach me something new. I want to learn. I have one episode. I have one episode released now. You'll hear one episode.
Yeah. One more question from Sally Force. She said, "Is there an autistic database?" She said.
Can you clarify? What do you mean autistic database?
Yeah, can you tell us what you mean by that, not Joel, Sally, or her name's Tiffany in real life. Tiffany, can you tell us what you mean by that, the autistic database? Like, maybe Anchor Haven knows. I don't know anything about the autistic database. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are they thinking about incorporating? Are you talking about what's going on currently in politics, like what they're trying to do, like incorporating some sort of database?
Oh, someone said they wanted to use it to track autistic people. You know.
Oh, I mean, I do feel that they're going to try to. I do feel like what I'm saying right now. I do feel like autistic people are special. You are special if you're neurodivergent. If you identify as shifted consciousness, neurodivergent, or autistic, you are a special person and you can do special things. I do believe that when the higher powers figure this out, that they are going to try to suppress autistic people in whatever ways they can. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does.
So I do think that that's possible. Some sort of database or way to control. Control. They're all about control. Control is the name of the game. So any way to control the masses of autistic people, yes, I foresee that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this is awesome, Lyndsey. I'm going to get a hold of you about the website because I definitely need a website, and I know you're really good at that. That's what you do. So I definitely will be getting a hold of you, and thank you so much today. And do you want to did you tell people how they can find you again and stuff like that?
Lyndseysmith.io is my website, and you can email me at lyndseysmith.io@outlook.com. On TikTok, I have TikTok, Patreon, lyndseysmith.io. Everywhere, if you want to find me, lyndseysmith.io.
Yeah, and look her up, guys, and book with her and stuff.
I just quit my job, and I really don't have anything to stand on, if you know what I mean. I'm going at this totally blind and really basically on my own. So any kind of support or help, I greatly appreciate, and I sincerely hope that I can liberate neurodivergent people and autistic people one day with my observations and what I believe to be true.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, thank you so much. And guys, I will be live again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern with Rock Castaldo. I have to do the link. I have to make the link, but I'm going to make the link for it now. So check me out later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, and he's going to do some readings. But we're also going to talk about the Lionsgate and all kinds of stuff. So. Yeah, and thank you again, Lyndsey. It's always good seeing you. I hope I hope this came out good for you, and let's do another one soon. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I have no idea who's here or how many people are watching. All I see is a StreamYard, so I have no idea what's going on.
I think it went well. People liked it, so yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
And I'll be talking to you soon. And take care, everyone. And my light went off. There we go. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.